Seismic shifts are coming to the real estate market. Some say this will be the most significant change to our industry in over 100 years. Will home prices drop as a result of these changes to how realtor commissions are negotiated? In our local market, home prices have remained elevated due to a lack of inventory. As idealistic as I would like to be, that a seller will take into consideration the fact that their selling costs have improved and thus they could drop their asking price for the homes that they are selling, I don't see that happening in reality. Why? The very basic economics of supply and demand. One of the considerations for every seller I have ever represented was their gross and net proceeds, with realtor commissions and a variety of other closing costs baked into their sales prices. Now, because the sellers will only pay X instead of Y, does not seem like an overwhelming reason for them to not try to get Z as their highest and best sold price, if and only if the market demands it, which my local market does. And I can tell you right now, most of my local market demands it due to its lack of inventory. In fairness, time will tell and bear out whether or not home prices are affected. Various real estate markets across the United States may be affected differently depending upon the various costs of purchasing a home and how it affects the buying public. Do buyers want realtor representation? If so, how much, if any, is the seller offering in the form of a commission and/or concession? How much delta does the buyer then have to contend with to ensure that they themselves are fairly represented? How does that affect their financing and potential loan approval to purchase a home? Does that make a percentage of buyers at a disadvantage because in addition to trying to qualify for a mortgage now, with these new rules in place, they will have to determine how much additionally it will cost them to their interest to be represented, and if they ask the seller to pay all or some of this percentage? Are they competitive, or are they at a competitive disadvantage if the seller has multiple offers in hand? Look, I get it. Some might say one more debit or credit in dollars and cents to consider when submitting a contract offer shouldn't or won't greatly affect the real estate market. First and foremost, I say fact. The number one obstacle in the United States for people purchasing a home is available saved funds, which directly affects the buyer's ability to qualify for a loan. Putting this financial obstacle to the side, let me address the elephant in the room, the reason for the lawsuit in the first place: transparency of realtor fees. What happens in a very real situation where a buyer is unable to afford working with a realtor, or for personal reasons decides to go it alone? In a competitive real estate market with homes that have multiple offers, how is an unexperienced solo buyer able to navigate contract negotiation and compete with, one, a seller who has hired their own realtor for representation, and two, buyers competing for the same home who have hired their own agents? Is this a fair fight? Some might say that it's okay. A listing agent has a responsibility to the transaction, so all is okay. Well, I've been a full-time realtor for 25 years. And in that time, almost 99% of it has been in a seller's market. A listing agent's fiduciary responsibility is to their client, the seller. And in a seller's market, a listing agent's job is to get the best contract and terms for their client, the seller. Who knows what constitutes a strong and competitive offer? A solo buyer? Or a buyer who is working with an experienced real estate agent who acts as their buyer agent? This is not a rhetorical question. My value as a realtor is the 25 years and counting as a full-time professional and having participated in over 1,000 successful real estate transactions. Experience is the teacher of all things. Contact me so that I can address these changes in our real estate industry and how to navigate them to best suit your needs, not the opposing parties, in the sale or purchase of a home.